Good's happening here. All right. Sarah, we're gonna only thing that you missed is everybody was sharing hot news and gratitudes. So once you do one stack of 100, you can just match them. Um, so go ahead and share something that you're grateful for, and then if there was any hot news, like things that are exciting for you happening in your Cutco business.
Yeah, I'm grateful that midterms are almost over and I have spring break next week. So hopefully, I'm glad that it's almost done, that it's almost halfway through already.
Spring break already? It's winter.
Yep.
All right.
Well, I'm done in April, so
That is true. That is true. All right, cool. And then Shauna.
Grateful for my husband being home so that he can make me breakfast or lunch now.
Ooh, nice. That is always nice when the mom gets a little break.
Yep.
All right. Cool, you guys. All right, welcome to the staff meeting. As Dave mentioned earlier, he was at Net, so all of our CSPs were there at Net. It was really great to get some time with them at that event. It was a lot of fun and learned a lot of stuff. And then separate from that, while Net was going on, there was the first ever national DVM meeting under our new president for Vector West, Al D. Leonardo. All right. Al, now there's no more Vector West, Vector East. It's just we're calling it Vector United. And what that means is there's going to be different opportunities that come up down the line and different programs and standards, but all in all, it's all super positive and exciting for everybody in this room. Okay. There's a few things that I wanted to go over with everybody and just make sure we are staying aligned here for keeping the main thing. Okay. Can everybody see this? Okay. Okay. So I was making some slides. I don't know if they're fully in order, so I might skip around here. But here's what we need to get through today. We're gonna review interviews for the week. We're gonna talk about assistant managers like calendars and schedules. Like I have some calendar things that are important for you guys to put into your calendar. We're gonna review some stats. All right, so some stats with interviews, scheduling PRs, all that kind of stuff. And then let's get our team meeting dialed in today. And then we're gonna have a special guest coming on to teach you guys some money stuff. Okay. So it's super important. But let me just start off with our newest people here. We have Lauren and Sarah. So Lauren, I had a conversation. I want to say it was like I don't remember when me and Lauren had the conversation. Was it before your winter break or after winter break?
About AMIT?
Yeah.
It was after because it was during KOC, I
Okay,
think.
cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so Lauren, you guys all know like Lauren, she's great. She's a team player, she's positive, she works hard, and she's a great example. So that's a big reason why I wanted to extend the assistant manager opportunity for Lauren. So right now she's an assistant manager in training. What that means, Lauren, is you're still kind of in your interview phase for becoming a full-fledged assistant manager. So it's like if you do all the right things, I would like ultimately love to promote you to be a full-fledged assistant manager. So that's why Lauren is in this role and in this room. Then Sarah, Jordan, and I had a great dinner. What was that? When was that? Friday? Friday night? It was a lot of fun. We tried some foods. A lot of it we really liked. A lot of it we really hated with
Use your stuff.
with a
It's
passion.
the stuff that you ordered.
And then me and Sarah got a chance to um go plant shopping. Sarah saved my Valentine's because I totally forgot about Valentine's Day. Um, and luckily Sarah was right there and reminded me, and it saved the day. So, super excited. But the reason why Sarah I talked to about assistant manager is Sarah is extremely talented and skilled, and I don't even know if you know how talented and skilled you are yet, Sarah, but that is like what I'm excited to help you kind of start to unravel. And she's set a really good example for our team, especially for 2026, bringing home a trophy at the kickoff conference, leading by example, inside the office as well as outside the office. And she hasn't even tapped her full potential. So I think she's going to be a great person for us to build with. Okay. And just like Lauren, Sarah, it's like being an assistant manager in training doesn't mean you're a full-fledged assistant manager yet. You still got to earn your stripes and earn your right with that. So we're gonna be figuring out like their roles over the next like week or two. But here's what I told all of them. Their number one job is to what? Sell Cutco. Number two job is to what? Number three job is to what? Sell more Cutco. Okay. So it's like that's all you ladies need to focus on is like selling a lot of Cutco. And then the number four thing that I would put on there is start to help and support with team building. All right. Whether that's helping August and Kayla on campus, or that's helping Jordan and Julie with booking fire. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about fire over the course of our staff meeting. So let me just explain what fire is for these two ladies real quick, and then we'll kind of move on here. So when we build the team, all right. So as my job as the division manager is to recruit and build a great team to maximize our territory for selling Cutco. So if you really think about it, we have a very small team and the opportunity is very huge, right? So it's like I've only focused on selling Cutco here in Riverside, right? This is why I look for branch managers and district managers to go be able to build teams in, like Jordan's going to build a team in Eastville, Corona, Chino area. Kayla's going to build a team in Rancho, and August's going to build a team in Redlands area. And that's going to help us maximize our distribution of being able to sell a lot of Cutco. Obviously, the more Cutco we sell, the faster we grow. It attracts more people. We build more leaders, and it creates more opportunities for everybody. Plus, we get to do a lot of awesome stuff along the way. So ultimately, the goal when we're building the team is to try to get the word out to as many people as humanly possible about the Cutco opportunity. This opportunity changed my life. It's my only job I've had since I was 18. So when you think about that, it's kind of crazy, right? It's like everything was like built off of this opportunity, and it's helped out a lot of our other people. So I know there's a lot of people that don't even know what Cutco is, and so that's our goal is to try to let as many people know as much as possible. And we also want to build the biggest, baddest team in the nation. So when it comes to building teams, you want to build your teams with great people. So Sarah, Lauren, just so you know, we advertise everywhere. We have online ads that we put out, Monster, Indeed, Snagajob, ZipRecruiter. We advertise on Craigslist. All right. You'll never know what we're going to get from Craigslist, but Julie's from Craigslist. And, I couldn't imagine our team without Julie. Eddie Seha was from Craigslist. He was looking for a waffle iron and stumbled upon a job opportunity. Could you imagine if we didn't have Eddie Seha on our team? So this is why we advertise everywhere. We have an open net philosophy because you never know where you're going to get your next Eddie Seha from, or your next Julie, or your Shaunas, and so on and so forth. So that's why we spread out our net as wide as we do. So those all work for recruiting, but they're not our best source. Our best source is always when, let's say, Sarah is has a close friend and Sarah's already doing great with the company and she can kind of speak and vouch for our team. She can be like, Jordan's a super cool manager to work with. He's super helpful. Hey, look at like how much I've sold. Look at my biggest paycheck. When Sarah tells any of her friends, they come into the job with less question marks. Because I'm sure everybody here came into the job with a huge question mark when you first started. I know I did. It took me forever to even like give this job a shot. Right. So it's like when you're applying online and you don't really understand what you're getting into, it's less efficient. Right. Obviously, we're going to have some people that are like, I don't want to sell knives. And that's totally fine. But it's like when there's a friend referring a friend and guiding that friend every step of the way, that friend is naturally going to perform better. So that's why we focus most of our attention there on PRs, personal recruits, and all those different types of things. So we want to build our team from within. Also, that creates a better culture, right? I'm sure Lauren can attest that, having her buddy Luna work with us made things a little bit easier, right? There's a friend that you're driving with to the team meetings. There's a friend you guys can chat about stuff after and during the event. So it's like it just makes it more comfortable, makes it more fun for everybody, right? Like imagine if you guys all had a friend on the team or multiple friends on the team that you were building something with. It just makes it better. And when you're liking the job, not just because of the money, but also because it's just like a place you feel great coming to, that's how you build great teams, right? So that's why we focus on PRs. Campus, our target demographic of people that really love our opportunity the most is students between the ages of 18 and 25. So that's why where are all the students are all at school. So that's why we do campus work because like the people that are looking for our type of work are all in one place. So that's why we advertise there. So campus and PRs are considered fire, and then social media is another form of fire where like someone shares it on their story and someone applies to the job. It's kind of like a PR, right? Or like we could be on campus and somebody shares about the job on campus, on their story and they apply through there. That can also be fire as well. Okay. So yeah, so that's how fire works. Any questions on that, Sarah or Lauren? Okay, so I just wanted to give that breakdown so that way when you hear me say fire, fire, fire this, fire that, that's what I'm referring towards. How many people are we scheduling from those sources? Okay. But hey, welcome to your guys' first staff meeting. So I'm gonna be going kind of quick through some topics. Please have something for notes and things to jot down, write down any questions. It's going to be pretty rapid fire in terms of this first portion. Then I'm going to bring on a special guest. He's going to be talking about money and finances. And just so you guys know where my stance is on money, all right, money's not going to make you happy. Okay. You're going to make a lot of money over your time in life. It's not going to make you happy. However, it does solve a lot of freaking problems, right? So it's like I don't think anybody here is gonna decline at making more money or like anything like that. So it's like I want to make sure everybody is educated on my squad about money and what to do with your finances. This was something that I wasn't great at when I was new because I had nobody to show me and guide me. But then luckily, like Evan Keller, our division manager, kind of took me under his wing and taught me a lot of great things, put me connected with a lot of great people. And then over my course of time, I've dove in a lot into money management and all that kind of stuff. One thing that a lot of you guys might not know, last year I got my financial coaching license with Dave Ramsey. So I am technically a licensed financial coach. I'm never going to try to sell you guys on any financial services, but if you guys ever have questions about money or getting better with your money, feel free to talk to me about it. I'm all for that. I love that. And to recognize something, Lauren just increased her withholdings to 50%. So this is separate from like assistant manager withholdings. She's just like off of all her sales. She's like, I'm gonna pretty good situation where I don't have to pay for a lot, so I want to be super aggressive with my savings. And you won't see what that's going to do for you later, but that's like one of the smartest moves that you could possibly make. So my stance, my expectation for all of you guys is to be good with your money and put yourself in a nice position later on down the road. I'll be that unk that's telling like the young kids to be cheap and all that kind of stuff. And I'd rather you guys get that from me than not get it at all. Okay. Like to give you guys an extent, like when I was 21, Who was I telling this to? Did I tell this to you, Sarah? I don't remember who I told, but when I was 21, like my biggest paycheck as a 21-year-old, and I'll talk openly about like my income as well too. So my biggest paycheck as a 21-year-old was $27,000. And I think I was telling Sarah about this. I was like, I couldn't tell you what happened to any of that money. Right. So it's like I think like literally like I put $1,000 into savings and I was like, all right, I'm good. And then spent the rest. Right. So it's like it was like on parties, on traveling and all, you name it, right? Like materialistic items. I bought my like gold BMW at that time and like all that type of stuff. And I don't remember anything that happened to that. So luckily Evan was like, hey, you should not do that ever again. Right. And that's like when I started my financial education. Okay. So he'll be on at around 12:35. Okay. But first things first. Let's dive into okay, the last stamp I'll put on that. I share that because just so you guys know, you guys are in a great place where you can build something special if you allow it to be. Has anybody ever heard of the grass is greener syndrome? Right? So the grass is greener syndrome, August, is where you're always looking outside of what's in front of you for better opportunities or new things that are like, oh, this is shiny. Like people are making money there. Like, here's what I'll tell you guys, you can make money anywhere, but it's like wherever you plant your feet and like water your own grass is where you're gonna really make that opportunity known. And another reason why like I'm talking about this is I have so many friends I run into or so many people that used to work with me years ago that are like, dude, I should have stayed with Cutco, right? Because like anytime you leave a job, you have to basically start from the ground floor and work your way up, unless you are like recruited hardcore to be executive, right? So, and I just had a call with another manager that's a top manager in our company, and he interviewed with other places. All these places accepted him for a position. So he did 7 interviews, got 7 new job opportunities, all great opportunities. But he asked them this one question. He was like, Day, he's like, how much paid vacation do I get? Because I have 4 trips planned this year. And basically all like half of them retracted their offers. They're like, oh, if you're going to be traveling that much, it might not be a good time to work with our company. And then the other half was like, you get 2 weeks of paid vacation. And then one was like, you get unlimited paid time off, but there's a limit. And with your travel schedule, it probably wouldn't be good to do that in your first year, which ultimately he's like, you know what? I just got to stick here with Cucco. Like I'm never going to be able to travel and do all the things that I get to do anywhere else. So it's a great place to be, and I'm excited for you guys to be here. But you just got to water your own grass and be patient, and your time will come. Okay. So let's dive in. All right. First things first. Let's talk about. Well, since we're talking about campus, we can go there. How many flyers did we have for campus? 450. Okay, so I'll order some more after we're done here, if you can remind me to order some more. Um, here's the thing with campus tomorrow, right? We're gonna be doing RCC table. What time were you guys planning on starting that table?
It doesn't rain in the morning, it doesn't until later, so probably like
Okay. So if we can get there at 9 a.m., um, how long do you guys think is a good time to be at a table, if you were to tell me?
mm, like 4 hours,
4 hours? Yeah.
the beginning of the day until it start raining.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's good. So what, 9 to 1, 9 to 12? I'm cool with you guys just doing 9 to 12. All right. I feel like I think there'll be like a rush, whatever that like 12 o'clock rush ends. I think that would be a good time to pack up because like that's like when all the classes like kind of get out at the same time at 12. The goal tomorrow is to get out 1,000 flyers, 1,000 of these ones. All right. So that's a good flyer session. All right. A great flyer session is when you can get out like multiple thousands, like 2 or 3,000. And I don't think you guys have ever got out 1,000 in a day before. So that's your guys' challenge right there. I gave you 1,000 last time. We've had 1,000. We've had plenty. But I think the most we've ever gotten out in a day is like 500. Okay. Let me just explain what like the flyer touch to schedule ratio. Typically for 100 flyers, you're going to get one touch. Okay. So if you pass out 100 flyers, it should lead, bless you, it should lead to one application, like one person actually like applying for the role. Sometimes it could be more when it's like our first time doing it, right? Because it's like something fresh and new. And like usually like the beginning of school, whenever like people come back from winter break or summer break, like the touch to response rate is higher, but then it dies down over time because you got to remember we're not the only person advertising to kids on campus, right? So it's like as it gets later in the year, those responses will go down. So if you got out 1,000, you're going to probably generate 10 applications. Okay. It could be more, but it's like probably 10 solid ones that we can like schedule, right? So that's what I want your guys' goal to be for tomorrow. And then with RCC's info table, I don't think we're allowed to collect applications there. However, here's how you should operate. We're going to operate in the gray. So we'll allow people to apply. Just don't be pushy about it. Okay. So I and you guys, I would just say just do it. Yeah, just do it. And then if you get someone says something, just be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, and then stop it immediately. Okay.
Yeah, so we don't have to like collect applications, we could just direct schedule it through our phone, you know?
Right.
So that's like the gray area, is like, oh, we didn't take any applications, we just set them for interviews.
Yeah. Yep. And then I think we have like a little QR code. Have you guys been using that QR code where people can just schedule straight from the QR code on the table?
Isn't that the same thing as a flyer?
No.
Yeah, but you also have some people that will just take a picture from way away and just like apply like that. So I'll make sure you guys have that ready as well. Okay. All right, so 9 to 12, 9 to 12:30. Um, here's something I'm gonna show you guys how to put a campus table in Vector Live. So you go to recruiting and then well, am I right? Vector Live. We'll go applicants and then on-campus table / clipboard. Okay. We're gonna create a new on-campus table. So table for tomorrow, we're gonna do 9 a.m. to
I would say one, that just because like UCR, for example, it really started popping off like towards 1 o'clock, like right before 1 o'clock was like one of the biggest rushes that we had, like 12:50.
yeah, right after. Okay.
Yeah, and that was that, and then you were right, like once after that, we could go, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an interview at 2 though, so you gotta be careful.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about interview schedule next.
She sees it.
All right, so Riverside City College. In front of MLK building. So the reason why you want to do this is we can get some company support here. So the company has relationships. We have a campus team that builds like relationships with schools and students behind the scenes, and they'll shout it out on X that we're doing a campus table in this area. They'll tag the school, and a lot of times the school will reshare it. All right. Baja Brad.
So man,
How
good
we
to see
doing?
you. Good.
But so you know how like the UCR shared it on their story. So it's like Amanda's like super great with that. Hey Baja, come over here real quick.
Yeah.
Um, I know
Is this a staff meeting or?
it is a staff meeting,
Awesome.
but let me introduce you to those that don't know you. There's some people here on Zoom.
Nice.
Um, this is Brad Ramos, you
How's
guys.
it going, guys?
Former branch manager, division office manager with Cutco.
District managers here.
District manager, district manager with Cutco, but he was one of my favorite guys to work with. He's since moved on from the business, but Brad crushed it as an assistant manager. I don't know any of your rep highlights, but I remember you as an assistant manager, always leading by example, always going big for push periods and all that great stuff. So what's what did you like about working with Cutco as a rep, as a manager? And then I'll ask you two other questions.
I love the culture, right? Like the team meetings and the just team night outs afterwards. I met some of my best friends here, like Day. Like Day introduced me to like a whole bunch of other friends. So culture is the first thing for sure. And just development. Like I grew so much personally in and out of the business, right? In terms of like confidence, communication skills, you name it. Like I started in the summer of 2020 and I'm now like a whole different person. Like I gave like, keynote speeches at some of our conferences, obviously spoken to one of our team meetings, things like that. Could never see myself doing that before working here. So just a whole different person. So sales changes your life because sales isn't everything. So I love the culture, the people, and just the growth I've seen in myself.
And the trips,
Trips.
they texted me that you won pretty much every trip that
That's
you
right.
could win.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why I like Brad. I was like, I would always run into him in Mexico. Brad's a good time in Mexico.
Yeah.
Just
That's
we
why
would
they call me Baja Brad.
Baja Brad, right? Um, yeah, why is it tell these guys why it's important to try to hit the trips? Because so these two are gonna be running branches. Jordan's a district.
Nice.
These are some new assistant managers.
Solid.
So anytime we have trips, why do you think it's important to hit those things?
Couple things, right? So I think about like trips, like any prize, if you just go for that, whether you hit it or not, you're gonna become a better person in terms of like the income you're gonna get, the skills you're taking to like get to the trip as well. And so just think about the trip, right? Like it's not about like the goal, it's about the destination, right? So that's how I became Baja Brad, right? I was like grinding for this trip, trying to hit this Mexico trip, my first one, right? And I hit it. And so that's kind of how I got my nickname. But like when you're at the trip, like with the other people, those are just like the people you want to be around, right? The other fellow assistant managers, branch managers, district managers in training, whatever it might be, right? So those are just the people you want to like rub shoulders with. And yeah, it's just a good time. It's like a fun trip, right? It's just an incentive trip, and you could like literally just connect, ask people, literally anything, right? Everyone's so open to just having their brain picked. So it's a great time for sure. A lot of fun.
Cool. And then I guess what's a tip that you would give for being a great assistant manager, and then a tip that you would give for prepping to run your first office?
Yeah, so kind of like hand in hand. So whether it's like your assistant manager, your district manager, I looked up to them and kind of just surrounding myself with them, right? So like my original assistant managers, I still think back to like Tiffany, Cassidy, Callista, right? Like they were like my OGs, right? So everything like they did, like I wanted to like just do that, right? Like they sold, led by example there, right? And like they led by example, like their interviews, obviously PDI, coaching, and everything as well. So just looking up to them, like locking arms with them, attaching to like your fellow assistant managers, the person like that's next up. And then in terms of like running an office, like being a branch or a DM, like for right now, like just like run the office like it's yours, right? Like say like Baker's not in town or like not doing something, like hey, like John, what could I do to like step up, right? Or even just asking, like, hey, what do I need to do? What could I be doing to like level up, right? Whether it's selling more or like getting a PC with someone that's like, I don't know, crushing it at a different office, right? Like the reports are there. Like you guys see him. Like you guys see who's crushing it. DMs, AMs, you name it. Awesome persists. Oh, Kuvi. Kuval Patel. What's up, Kuvi?
Hey, bro. How you doing?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right. Cool, Brad.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Text me. We'll text about the business thing.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
See you guys.
All right. Cool, you guys. So we're gonna transition here. Kuvi, let me get you on the big screen and then I'll turn it around here. Give me 1 second. All right. So you guys, this I'm just gonna dive into Kuval Patel and then we'll finish up our stuff after Kuvi speaks here. But Kuvi, is it okay if I call you Kuvi?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's how I know this guy. King Kuvi. All right, so Kuval has done everything he can do in the business. If I remember correctly, Kuvi, you started with Wes Frank.
Yeah, that's right. With
All
Wes.
all right, so you guys know the training videos that Drew Frank and Wes Frank. He learned from one of the greatest managers in the company's history. Moved out here. I believe I'm just making up your bio as I go, and from what I know from you, Kuvi, but moved to LA to pursue like Hollywood and film and acting and all that great stuff. Found Vector, crushed it at a high level, became a district manager. And the most notable thing I learned from Kuvi was work ethic. As a district manager in 2020, did you hit 1 million?
Yeah.
Did $1 million, mostly new business during that year, was killing it. And then how many people did you recruit in 2020? It was insane how many people he was recruiting.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact number, but it was like 600 plus, I think.
Yeah, 600 plus recruits in a year. Like there was points where like he didn't even know some of the people on his team. And I actually like drove down to LA to like go see what this guy was doing. And basically all I learned is like he just works hard. He's on a mission, set big goals, and had a lot of fun. And then he transitioned out of the business. And while he was in the business, he wrote a book, got into real estate, still does real estate at a high level. And now he's doing some financial coaching with managers all around our company. Every summer for my branch managers in the room, you guys will sign up and district managers, you'll sign up with a program to help you with your bookkeeping and like accounting and all that type of stuff. So he's one of the coaches that does that, but he has a lot to offer all around. Kuvi and I were also a part of the same coaching program where we got connected with some insane individuals all across the world, and he's really takes his stuff seriously. And I think now he's starting up his own company, and there's some exciting things coming down the road. So I brought him on to help start the relationship process with teaching you guys about some finances. Kuvi, if I missed anything, fill in the gaps right there. But thank you for making the time for my team here. Go ahead and take it away.
It is my pleasure. It's good to see you, Baker. Lauren, nice to see you. Shauna and Sarah, I see y'all on Zoom there. And I know we got a couple folks that are in the office. Day, what's up, bro? How we doing? We got 3 other folks in the office there. I'm curious, which ones of y'all are going DM in the summer? Just raise your hand for me. Who's going DM?
Jordan Soriano.
Oh, Jordan, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. It's been a minute, dude. I think we've only met years ago, maybe once or twice. Say it again.
Yeah, I think we met like over 10 years ago or something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah, man. That's cool. Well, welcome back. And then who's going BM? Who's going branch manager? Got 2 in the front of the room there. Awesome. And then I know Day, you're going to be the pilot. Lauren, Shauna, and Sarah, what are y'all doing this summer? Are y'all AMs? Great. Shauna, what are you doing? You didn't give me a yes or a no, I don't think.
She's my lead recruiter, so she
I love
helps me run like interviews, schedule PRs, and she's getting into the events game of selling.
I love it. I love it. Very good. Okay, awesome. Well, guys, I have maybe 20-25 minutes of stuff prepared to teach y'all today. It honestly could be things that are just good reminders for you to know. I might not be blowing your mind today, but I hope to provide some value. And I even have a Google Sheet that I'll give you guys that I gave to my team back when I was a district and assistant division manager. The whole purpose of my conversation with y'all today is to teach you a little bit more about money and how to set yourself up for massive, massive success in the summer. Whether you're going branch, district, being an assistant manager, being a VIP at the office, Shauna, helping Baker and Dave do all the recruiting, and then obviously selling yourself. That's what the whole purpose of today is. it's about how to set yourself up for success. John said my entire background, so there's really not much that I could add to it. Maybe some things that might help. Day and I were part of the Southland division when we won multiple silver cups back to back to back. I was the assistant division manager. I did over $1 million, close to 900K. That was new business, so reps that I recruited in that calendar year, over 900K. If you all know the rep Ben Cooper, I trained him. He's about to hit Hall of Fame this week. And the reason that I do this rising stock coaching is for a few reasons, but the most top of mind for me is I'm able to stay connected with the Vector people, the people that really changed my life, and give back to the folks in the community that I can attribute so much of my life to. So that's why I'm here. But this is really going to be a lot of interaction. So I know, Lauren, you're driving, so I don't want you to interact at all. Maybe just like nod a couple times, but do not use the chat or anything. But for everybody else in the room, I'll be going through maybe having you guys post in the chat if you're able to. So Sean and Sarah, I know you can. For those that are in the room, just raising your hand there. But I know everybody's on Zoom's name. What are your two names in the front there? The branch managers.
My name is August.
August,
Kayla.
Kayla, August, and Kayla. Nice to meet you guys. How long have you two been in the business for?
I've been in the business since last June.
I
Great.
started a little over a year ago.
Amazing. Fantastic. And then Sarah, Lauren, and Shauna, when did y'all start selling Cutco?
November.
November?
This last December.
Last December. Great. And Shauna?
I think last February. I think I just hit my year.
Amazing. So we got a great group. So y'all, the title of my message, and Baker, I just sent you a request to share the screen.
Oh, 1 second.
The title of the message today is, are you building a business or building a job? I'm giving you my Google sheet first. Let's do this. There we go. Are you building a business or are you building a job? That's the topic of today. When you think about running a vector business, whether it's a BM, a DM office, or as an assistant manager, helping the pilot, helping other district managers, and preparing to really run your own organization at some point, this is something that I want you all to think about. Are you running a business or are you running a job or creating a job? When I think about opening an office, and this is something that I still need to train myself on many times, I want to stop referring to what I'm going to open as an office. Like, you're not opening an office. Well, yes, that's what you're doing, but what you're really doing is opening a business. And so as you think about everything that you do from here forward, so August, Kayla, from here forward, everything that you do, Jordan, for you too, everything that you do is going to help you create your business, or it's going to help you stay stuck in a job. And that's the whole mindset that I want you to have as we're going through this conversation today. I'll have some time at the end for Q&A if you guys have any questions throughout. But when you think about the difference between a job and a business, I'm curious. I know Kayla and August, you guys are unmuted. Jordan, you're unmuted there. For the folks on Zoom, feel free to shout out as well. What do you think the differences are between a job and a business?
I think a job is a lot more restricting.
Restricting for sure. Great start. What else do you guys think?
I think a business has to be built, whereas a job is kind of already set.
Absolutely. Be built versus kind of just step into it. Absolutely, 100%. What else? Dear Jordan, can you think of anything back there?
Businesses you can scale, but jobs you're pretty much, you're capped to an hourly value. So
Absolutely. Super key. And the key to scale, like one of the most important things to scale, Jordan, is having enough capital to be able to scale. We see that all the time. Entrepreneurs and business owners alike, they get to this point in their business where it's this like fork in the road type of thing where if they had the resources to grow, they'd be able to, or they don't have the resources, so they just can't grow. So scale, 100%. Can anybody else think of something? And if not, that's okay, we can keep going. But anybody else has something on their mind? Difference between a job and a business?
A job, you have set hours. With a business, you're able to create your lifestyle around it.
Yeah, great point. Great point. And asterisk there, Day, you know this being a branch manager, and for everybody that's new or reopening Jordan as a manager, when you're a DM in Vector and a BM in Vector, you're working 24/7, 365, baby. Like there's no easy way to say that. You're working all day, every day, because you're literally starting a business. And what Day said is you're creating like the life that you want to create. Yes, that's true. And it's true after you've created the stability of a business. I can think of, and maybe Baker, I'm curious your take on this. I can think of when I opened my office, when I opened my business in 2018 in West Los Angeles. I was working all day, every day for months and months and months, and it wasn't really until the end of 2020. So it was maybe 2.5 years of just working a lot, like consistently, every single day, every single week in the business, on the business. It wasn't until the end of 2020 that I realized that I had built something where I could create the lifestyle that I wanted and like take time off, go on trips, and the office and the assistant managers kind of did their thing. Baker, I'm curious for you, as you were creating your business, your district with the team that you have now, do you remember a time like that in your business?
Yeah, for sure. The first, two years was grind years, and then, then you kind of like pull up and take a break, and you realize you built something around you.
Yeah. And it's so, so worth it. So the key here, the difference is ownership. And ownership in the business isn't a title. It's truly a behavior. It's not a title, it's a behavior. And it's when you think about the difference between a job and a business, in a job, you're always going to need that next check, right? In a job, you're always going to be like maybe what some of y'all are doing now, just getting started in Cutco sales. You're selling for the next commission check. You're doing events for the next commission check because that's a job. As a job, you need that next check, right? Unless you've built a big CSP business, like I know Day has a pretty good book of business as a CSP or an FSM. So that's a job. On the business side, businesses can survive volatility because you have the resources available to survive and thrive in any market that your business is part of or any market your business is in. And one of the big things that I want to focus here on is when I hear this so often, when managers say, "Oh, it's my territory. My territory is different." Don't ever say that. Just get that out of your mind. Territories are, yes, they're different, like location wise, but at the end of the day, Vector has hundreds, maybe even thousands of markets across the United States, and there's at least one that's similar to yours in terms of demographics and population and income and schools and colleges, and everybody has success. Every territory has success or has had success. So don't think about it like my territory is different. How can you make the most out of what your opportunities, make the most out of your territory? So businesses can survive volatility. Other things that I think about and the differences between a job and a business. In a job, you really can't take off. Like for those of you that are newer Cutco reps, if you stop booking demos, stop making calls, you won't get a paycheck the next week. It's pretty obvious. As a business owner, when you create either your CSP business, and in this case, we're talking about your office business, when you create your office business and like what Baker has created for the division, what I created as an assistant division manager, what they saw us do in West Los Angeles, I could take a couple of weeks off. The business would still grow and flourish and do well, and then I could step back in, right back into it. So in the business, you can take that time off. In a job, you're thinking short term. In a business, you're thinking long term. And that's a key that I want you to think about. In a business, you can think long term. In a business, you can choose who you bring in. Versus a job, if you're running your district or your branch as a job, you're going to be fighting. You're going to be fighting from behind to like catch up to what the standards should be. Whereas if you're thinking about it as a business, you have the standards set in place. You can really choose who you want to work with at a really high level. Now, we can talk about recruiting another time. I absolutely love recruiting, and I was a kick-ass recruiter. But the key here, the big, big difference between job and a business is savings. To launch a successful business, you have to have savings. Savings give you foundation. Savings give you options. Savings, savings, savings. It's all about the foundation that you set for yourself. So when you think about foundation, aggressive savings. I know we're already in February. You guys probably have until what, like May or June before most of you guys open. August and Kayla, when do you guys open your office? Do you know yet?
May.
Yeah, May.
May. So you guys have what, maybe 2.5 months yet? Jordan, when do you open your office?
Either late April or May.
Late April or May. Cool. So maybe a little bit less time, but right around 2.5-ish months. And then Lauren, Shauna, Sarah, Day, you guys aren't opening an office yourself this summer, but that possibility is still there. So I don't want you to tune out here. This is true for you, even as assistant managers, recruiters, pilots. This is true for you. Savings gives you leverage. Savings gives you options. Savings gives you your foundation. Now, the key to savings isn't that it's leftover savings. Like it's not whatever's left over after I pay my bills, whatever's left over after I do this, or after I buy the couch, then I will save the rest of it. That's not how it works. Savings needs to be now, not later and not if there's extra, but it has to be now. And when we talk with Vector managers and Vector reps, The hardest thing to do is, well, I don't know how much I'm going to sell next week. I don't know how much I'm going to sell next month. And so if I decide to save X dollars per month, sometimes I might not make enough money to like justify the savings and yada, yada, yada. I have a system for that. Has anybody had those thoughts like, well, I don't know how much money I'm going to make next month, so how can I know how much I'm going to save? Has anybody had that thought before? Yeah, you're not alone. Every commission based, every what is it? Every bonus based, incentive based position has that same thought. So this rings true not just in the vector business, but in hundreds of businesses in the world, and especially as you're starting your own business. So what I'm going to give you guys is a Google sheet that I made years and years and years ago. And Baker, you might remember this. This net worth tracker is what Mike Chu gave us in Champ Dev years ago, how to start tracking our net worth just at a really basic level. This is
Wait, real quick, Kuvi. I just
Yeah.
want these guys to understand, like, the amount of money me and Kuvi had to pay for this, just like this sheet right here is insane. So he's about to just give it to you for free.
Yeah. Yeah, if I had to do the math, Baker, and like how much I paid into Champ Dev, it's probably over 100 G's. Over 100 G's probably. But I'm not gonna give you guys, I'm not just gonna show you guys the net worth tracker. And this is cool, it's good to have, but for you guys, it might not mean a ton right now while you're building your business. What I want to focus on is this percentage-based budgeting part of the sheet. I'm gonna send this to you guys so you're able to do this and work with this sheet, make a copy of it, kind of create your own. And I want you guys to play along in this exercise with me and keep it as real as possible. So pull out a fresh sheet of paper or a new document on your computer if you're taking notes on your computer. And what I want you to do is start writing down all of the fixed expenses that you know you have every single month. So when I think about as an office manager, you have office rent. You probably have apartment rent or house rent. You have a car payment, insurance, groceries, phone, and whatever other fixed expenses you know you have. Go and do me a favor. Just write them down monthly. What it is and how much it costs every month. What it is and how much it costs every month. And I'll give you all a second to do that. And trust me, this is going somewhere. This is going somewhere that you want to be. So play all out for me. Write down the monthly expenses that you have. So what it is and how much it costs every month. It doesn't need to be as nitty gritty as like Hulu and Netflix. If you want to just bundle it together like subscriptions, that's totally fine. For here on this sheet, I just did the bigger ticket things like office rent, home rent, car insurance, that type of stuff, phone bill. When you have that number, those numbers, excuse me, add them up and then circle that bottom number. Circle that number after you've summed them all up. Pull out your phone if you need to calculate stuff, but circle that number. That number is going to be your monthly expenses, like how much it costs you to like live every month. Now, because Vector folks, you are paid every week, we want to break that down weekly. Typically just divided by 4. So in this sheet, and I'll zoom in, what your homework assignment is going to be is to update these red numbers and this gray column with your fixed expenses every week. So all of the things you just wrote down, and even some more that you can think of, writing them all down here in these red columns. That'll spit out your total amount of fixed expenses every week. And remember, we're breaking it down by a week because Vector folks are paid weekly. Then every single week, every single Friday, when you get your commission statement, or on Thursday when you get that email with your commission statement, you're going to put the amount of the check that you will be receiving in this cell here, B4. Let's play along with this example that's already in the sheet. Let's say you're getting the commission check of $1,600. These are all of your weekly expenses broken down by week. So now you know how much you need to earn to be able to survive weekly, survive monthly. You have your total fixed expenses, which leaves your net after all of your expenses at about $460 for this specific example, for this week's paycheck. Does everybody follow me so far? Does anybody have any questions? All right, following so far, great. Now the key here is percentage-based budgeting. So you have this $460 after you're paying for everything you need to survive. What do you do with that $460? You could just throw it into a bank account, throw it into a savings account. But if you're anything like me, if you see money, you're going to spend money. So we got to get the money out of our bank accounts. Does anybody relate to that? See money, spend money. If you have it, you're going to buy stuff with it. It's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's the energy of money. So you take that net check, now moving to the right side of the sheet, You have your different categories. These categories are considered buckets. If you haven't read some financial books, there's two that I'd recommend to get started in like learning about money, specifically savings. I'd recommend reading Money Honey by Rachel Richards. She is a former Vector person, and I'm sure you've heard this book talked about in the region. And the second is Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. So Money Honey by Rachel Richards and Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. Both of those books talk about the concept of buckets of money. And the reason this is so powerful for commission-based salespeople, commission-based employees and reps and workers, is because now you can take the amount of money that you've earned and split it between the different buckets. What's in this sheet is what I would recommend for any Vector rep or manager that's opening their own office, opening their business. You see here, it's the first category, savings for investing. So this is when you think about investing into maybe your first house, buying an investment property, investing potentially even into crypto or the stock market or yada, yada, yada. Savings for investing. Education. Education could be school, education could be master's degree, education could be a coaching program like John and I were part of for many years. That's education. Long-term savings for spending. So this could be when you go on the national trip for Vector and you want to extend it by another week or 2 weeks to have an amazing time in Europe or wherever you guys are going. I think this year it's on the cruise. You're able to have money set aside for that. So it's not like you're cutting checks and putting stuff on credit cards, but you have the money set aside. That's what this next category is. Long-term general savings is like for an engagement ring, as a really easy example. Fun money. So whenever you're going on a weekend trip with your family or your friends, give money. So if you do donations or tithe the church or whatever you might do to give money, and then money set aside for taxes. I have it split up here, and these are the percentages that I would recommend. It adds up to a total of 100%, and it breaks down the net check into these individual buckets. So now every Friday for 15 minutes, what you're going to do is put your paycheck in here, take this net check. It's going to automatically come over here. So all you got to do is put your paycheck in here, and these numbers automatically calculate for where you want to move money to. Now, how do you do it? There's many different ways. Easiest way through Vector is withholdings. So connect with Baker, make sure you have enough withholdings set up to be able to budget these automatically without you having to do it yourself. I highly recommend withholdings. Highly recommend withholdings. Used it for many, many years. The other way to do it is through apps like Wealthfront or other apps that do like high yield savings where you can open up multiple accounts without any account fees. And then you just move that money from one to the next, one to the next. Does anybody have any questions so far? This is really basic stuff for now. Okay. I'm going to put this Google Sheets in the Zoom chat. Feel free to take this, save this, make a copy of it, whenever you want to use it.
Well,
I'll pause before I keep going. Does anybody have any questions about anything so far? Laying the foundation. Okay. Now, for those of you that are opening an office or plan to open an office, like Laura and Sarah, Shauna in the future, Day in the future, Vector is literally a money printing video game. And it wasn't until my 3rd year in the business that I actually learned this, and nobody had told me this concept before. And I'm curious, has anybody else heard that Vector is a money printing video game? Has anybody heard this concept before? No? Y'all, it's crazy. It is crazy. And it's something that I didn't realize until my 3rd year as a manager. But here it is. You all know that you guys have SMRA program, mailers, online apps, PRs. You guys are familiar with all these different ways to advertise, right? Thinking about mailers, thinking about SMRAs, those are probably the 2 most important things, and PRs obviously, the 3 most important things that you can focus on this summer. Now, why is it and how is it a money printing video game? You already have the systems that you know that work. Baker, Western Region, Vector, they have systems that work. So all you need to do is put money into the video game and it spits money back out at you. That's a business. Put money in, you get money out. So if I were to guarantee you, if you put $10 in this vending machine, you're gonna get 15 bucks back. How many of you would just play this vending machine video game for the rest of your life? Like, you never stop doing it, right? Put 10 bucks in, get 15 bucks out. You would never stop doing it. That is what the Vector business is. And I wish somebody told me this earlier. I can almost guarantee you that we break it down to a science, like not just we as in me, but like Baker and you will break it down to a science. If you buy an extra mailer, if you put an extra $100 into mailers, it's going to create X dollars of CPO, X dollars of recruits, X dollars of PRs. So the question is, how many X hundreds of dollars of mailers do you want to spend? How many X more hundreds of dollars do you want to put into the SMRA program? Because you know, if you have one SMRA that you pay for 5 hours with, they're going to get X amount of recruits, X amount of CPO, X amount of PRs. It's literally a money printing video game. The question that you need to answer is, how much are you going to put into the video game? Does that like conceptually make sense now? How much are you going to put into the video game? It's literally $10 in, $15 out, $10 in, $15 out every single time. And it blows my mind that people don't do it. Like they're getting success and then they just stop putting money into the video game. It can keep going. It doesn't have to stop as long as you keep the system flowing. Okay? It's a money printing video game, and like lock that into the back of your brain. So step number 1 is laying that foundation first. You all know the summer is volatile. If you haven't been around for a Vector summer, the summer is volatile. You already know that. There's going to be great weeks and there's going to be some character building weeks. But that's why savings is the most important thing. You always want to save more, not save less. Momentum is the easiest thing to lose, especially in the summer, especially if you don't have enough saved. I'll say that one more time, and I'll say it in a different way. Momentum is the hardest thing to get, and it's the easiest thing to lose. Hardest thing to get, easiest thing to lose. It's even easier to lose if you don't have savings. If you don't have savings, you're going to be relying on, the 2 reps that you launched in training when you're expecting to launch 15. And you're going to be operating from this weird energy of like, I need you to sell. And nobody wants to be around that energy. Trust me. Now, this isn't just about money and saving. It's about who you become in the process. Who you become in the process of saving money, making the harder decisions now. So I think, did I interrupt somebody? I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
No, cool. When I think about what y'all have the opportunity to do between now and like the next 8 weeks before you open your office, or now and the next 12 weeks before you guys open your office, what I highly recommend is saying no to those weekend trips, saying no to spending extra money on video games, saying no to whatever might take away from your savings to focus on your savings, because I can guarantee you in 1 year from now, 365 days, if you didn't go on that weekend trip with your buddies, if you didn't spend money on video games, you're going to look back at it and be like, yeah, that was a good decision. Because this is a money printing video game. In 12 months from now, you're going to be in a significantly different place than you are today in terms of life and business and how much money you have earned and saved because you did the business the right way. Because you put money in and $15 came out after you put $10 in every single time. Now, when it comes to like this hard truth, it's called lifestyle creep. Has anybody heard of lifestyle creep?
Mm-hmm.
What is
Damn.
that?
Lifestyle.
What? Lifestyle what?
Lifestyle creep.
Lifestyle.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's where like the more money you make, it kind of like creeps up to want to do more expensive things.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Lifestyle creep. As you make more money, your lifestyle creeps up and your expenses also creep up. Lifestyle creep. So you'd expect, like, if you're making right now, I think for a lot of you right now, making like $3,000 or $4,000 a week would be like a really, really awesome opportunity. Would you guys agree? Like if I made $4,000 a week, that'd be pretty sick. Yep. At the same time, like you wrote down on your numbers on your paper just a moment ago that your monthly expenses were probably like $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000, right? So if you're making $4,000 a month and your expenses are only a couple of grand, you'd expect that you're saving that difference. Lifestyle creep, this fallacy of lifestyle creep is you make 4,000 and let's say you make an additional like 8,000. So let's say you're making $8,000 total. Monthly expenses don't just stop where they were before, they also creep up because as you make more money, you spend more money, just like I said at the beginning. And we see that all the time in Vector. And I'm guilty of, or I am a victim or whatever you want to call it, of lifestyle creep, right? I had a really great couple of years, got a BMW. Had a really great couple of years, bought a house. Had a really great couple of years, did this. And my monthly expenses kept going up and up and up. And that's just lifestyle creep. Now, when it's planned for and you have savings, it's different. But if it's totally new, if it's totally like unplanned for, then that's when you get into a really big pickle. So the hard truth, when income rises, usually expenses start to rise faster. So it's important, especially over the next couple of months and next couple of weeks, as you're ramping up, selling maybe a little bit more now to save more money, and then opening your office and making significantly more money as your office opens up, you do not spend more money. You need to be extremely like conscious about this. Do not spend more money just because just because you are making more money. Because aggressively saving does three things. And this is really where we're on a key in for you guys as we finish it up here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Saving aggressively does three things: builds runway, builds confidence, and builds your identity that you're a business owner, not an employee. So it builds your runway, builds your confidence, and it builds your identity. When I think about building a runway, I think of like, how do you save enough money in the next 4 weeks or 8 weeks to be able to have 6 months of your expenses set aside, to not have to worry about it? What does that look like? And maybe 6 months is a stretch because you don't even have your first emergency fund set up. How do you save your first $1,000? How do you save your next $1,000? How do you get to a milestone like $5,000 in savings? I want you to write that number down, whatever that number is for you, that next milestone savings number, and go for it. Connect with Baker and see how he can help you go for it. Like, what plan do you need to create in place to be able to go and save that much money? So building your runway, getting up to 6 months, but then finding milestones in the meantime to be able to celebrate the smaller victories. When I think about building confidence, you lead differently. You speak differently when you have when you don't have financial things to worry about. You speak differently. You lead differently. You operate differently. You speak with confidence. You operate with confidence. And then you build your identity as an owner, because employees, they end up spending what's left over, whereas owners, this is a book that I highly recommend reading. It's called Profit First. Business owners pay themselves first. Business owners pay themselves first. And that's a whole topic in this book, Profit First. And the last thing that I'm thinking about here is you put yourself in a position of choice. Position of choice means that you're running your office, running your business because you want to, not because you have to. And when you have the savings, when you have the opportunity of choice, because you have really mastered the art of saving money, you're going to put yourself in a way different position. So to finish up, my goal for you is to be able to commit. We already did part of this already, where you're writing down your monthly expense number. You might already know how much you need to sell to be able to earn that income to cover your monthly expenses. But I'd love for you to think about a number that you want to save, whether it's every week, every month, and commit to that with Baker. Commit to that with your DM if your DM is not John Baker. But work on a plan to get there, because I can guarantee you're going to have much more fun this summer, much more success this summer if you save an extra 20 bucks a week, 50 bucks a week, 100 bucks a week, 1,000 bucks a month. Guaranteed 100%. And remember, last thing I'll say is it's a money printing video game. You put money in, you get that much and more back. That's all I got for you guys. Anybody have any questions?
Boom, give Kuval a round of applause right here. Yeah, any questions about Kuval? I think he's open to anything on money, anything about, management, anything, Kako, if he's qualified to answer it as well.
What kind
Oh, yeah.
Lauren, you're breaking up. Text it to me if you can.
Well, good too.
Sorry?
All right, say it again. Try asking again. You broke up.
Text it to the chat.
Yeah, text it to the chat, Lauren. Bless you.
Thank you.
Could you send that to us with the Excel sheet?
Yeah, well. All right. Besides Lauren, anyone else have a question? Well,
I do, and I think it might be similar to Lauren's of the little bit that I heard. But so you said, what leftovers go into savings. Is that all going into one account, or would you suggest doing like different kinds of accounts for different things?
Good question. Really good question. I'd say keep it simple. Keep it simple in the sense of do whatever works for you most consistently. For me, I'm the one that I want to have different buckets of money organized separately. So for me, I would set up different accounts using Wealthfront is the bank that I used. You could set up different checking accounts for different purposes, and there's no monthly fees, but I'm sure there's many options out there. It doesn't just have to be that one. But what I would do is set up different accounts and have money in those separate accounts for separate purposes. So that way they're not mixed together. To start though, Sarah, having one just dedicated account for saving money might be a great path for you. So after you're done paying your bills, like the fixed expenses, before you go splurge on like a weekend trip, just moving whatever percentage is in this or whatever amount is based in these percentages, moving that from your main account into this one account you have for savings, that could be a great place to start.
Thank you.
Yeah. I saw Lauren was nodding her head. I think it was the same question. Yeah, cool.
All right. So Lauren, that was your similar question right there.
Yeah, I'm almost on the freeway, so my connection's not as good.
All right. Ask your question if you have a different one. We can hear
Oh
you.
no, that Sarah asked pretty much the one that I was trying to.
Okay, cool. Shauna, I forgot we have Julie here on the phone. Branches, districts, any questions?
I wish I did. This was great. I liked it.
My bills are a lot higher, so I don't know if I can make that much Cutco.
Of course you can.
You got to sell more. That's all it is. One thing that I learned from the coach that John and I was working with was if you're, I think the number was like 20. If you're making less than 20 grand a month, then figure out a way to get to 20 grand a month. And that's
That
like,
would be nice.
yeah, don't be cutting your expenses because you can only cut so thin. Like you can only go down so low. But the thing that you don't have like a cap on is how high you can earn the income. So getting,
My thing is time. I don't have time. I homeschool my kids and I don't have babysitters.
Mm, I wish I could give you some good tips for that, but unfortunately, I don't have
With
that.
my kids 24/7, so that's me and John already know.
Yeah.
So the limits for me.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. Maybe John could connect you with another sales professional or manager that's in the same spot. I remember, John, if you remember Shayla Way,
Yeah.
she used to take all of Wednesday off every week when her kids were in elementary school and just like hang out with her kids all day. And I know it's obviously different than being that totally different than being a stay-at-home mom, but I'm sure there are other managers and reps that are in the same position. And that's what I love about Vector is there's so many examples, models of success. We just got to find the right one and get you connected with them.
Yeah.
All right. And then Kuvi, I don't know if you heard Jordan, but he said this is really good stuff. He wished he had this when he was like younger, for sure. Like somebody talking to him about this type of stuff.
Totally. Totally. Well, y'all, if you're going out as a DM, you and I are going to be working together monthly. We do coaching calls once a month. It's included in your Rising Stock bookkeeping. Rising Stock does all the bookkeeping for you, so you don't have to worry about anything for your taxes. If you're a branch manager, we don't do monthly calls, but you have my phone number. Baker can send you my phone number. Feel free to call me or text me literally anytime. I'm happy to help and be a resource wherever I can.
All right, cool, man. There he is, Kuvi. You'll hear this guy a little bit more. I know you got a busy day ahead of you, but thank you so much for making the time, man. That was good stuff.
My
I
pleasure.
know.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
Adios. Okay, cool. Did you guys like that? Was that helpful? Okay, so just a couple things I just wanna say from what he was saying here. One, right, this is why personal sales is important, right? Which is why I always want you guys selling because that is like your biggest opportunity in front of you that you have the most control out of, right? Is like selling Cutco. You can do that as much as you like, and you have full control over that. Um, and you're gonna have your moments where, like Lauren will agree, like she was like getting frustrated, just a few weeks ago because she wasn't like turning the corner, even though she was doing all the right things. But then like that big one comes. So now the biggest thing, Lauren, is like keeping that momentum alive, right? But yeah, that's why personal sales is the big one because when you're selling consistently on a weekly basis, you can always be saving consistently. And when you see your savings start to fill up and you see those buckets fill, you're gonna feel pretty good. Okay. Now, if anybody needs help with like setting up withholdings and stuff like that, talk to me. I can help you guys out with that super quick and show you guys how to take control over that. For office managers, I have your numbers for your territories. So just make sure you guys talk to me before you leave the office today. So that way I can give you like an estimate of how many mailers you can send and then how many people are actually in your territory. And by the way, you guys have some like juicy territories. Like when I was going over it, you guys have like division territories, right? Like the numbers that you can, yeah, like I'll give you a rough estimate, but like yeah, in your territory as a branch, you have 600,000 people, which is an insane opportunity. Like that's what they want for division managers. Usually branches like go to a territory where there's like 30,000 people or 50,000 people. Kayla, you have 500,000 people. You know, Jordan has almost 800,000 people, right? So it's you guys have a really unique opportunity, which is why I want to make sure you guys are prepared to take full advantage of it because you can make more than the average branch this summer if you do all the right things building up to it. Okay. So super exciting stuff right there. Shauna, go ahead and jump on the interview. We'll chat after that. But I am gonna go over interview stuff real quick and then we're gonna transition into some fire here. Give me 1 second. Did you buy a truck? Did you buy a truck? Dang, congrats. All right, call me back when you're done. All right. All right. Where were we? Okay. So interviews for this week here. All right, Tuesday we have a 2:15 and a 4:35. This week on Tuesday, I'm gonna have Shauna run the 2:15. So, because I know we have like campus and stuff, so like just worry about crushing campus and getting everybody booked and scheduled. Like that is high priority. Who's gonna run the 4:35?
Yeah, I usually run that one.
Okay. Okay, cool. I need to make sure the name. Okay, it's August on there anyways. All right. What time are your class on Tuesdays now? At 4? Okay. Wednesday. All right. We have Day and Jordan. Jordan, are you Apex interview ready?
I should be
Okay.
hopefully by then.
Did you still want to go over a couple things?
Yeah, I want to go over everything
So
with anybody and everybody.
before I got here, I was on a call with Katie Booth. Um, there's a new Apex certification you can do. So you're gonna be the
Yeah, I'll be the guinea pig.
okay. Yeah, you're
Record me, tell them I suck at this stuff, so it's perfect.
yeah, like literally they're gonna guide you step by step
Yeah,
through it
yeah, 'cause
and
I was just texting, me and Dave were just texting.
it's not that hard. You're overthinking it.
Nah, but I'm a slow learner when it comes to these things, so it's like
Okay.
I want to just take
Okay.
you know, everything else is fine. You know, and it also leads into training as well, like those type of things that I don't want to not know that by the end of the week.
Yeah. Okay. Julie, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay,
Yeah,
just
if you could
checking.
schedule me for the 4 o'clock, but the thing is like
I have it all scheduled for you at 4 already.
So like, yeah, last week, and I'm not saying that it's gonna happen every week. Maybe just that was just this past week, but I prefer not to run the 4 o'clock if I'm running if I'm running the show. Because it's just like bleeding into the team meeting, and it's like I'm not able to do, you know what I'm saying? I'm not able to get everything fully like ready by the time that goes. I think this week we don't know we should hit campus on Wednesday. I don't know when, like what, probably UCR, probably like that morning thing. Um, well, RCC is up, we're hitting it Tuesday, so.
I think you should hit Tuesday, Wednesday RCC just because it's the first week.
Because of the first week.
Yeah.
Yeah, is we allowed to have tables 2 days in a row?
hmm
Okay,
Yeah,
so-
RCC, all the RCC, Merino Valley College, unlimited.
So yeah, that's cool. We can do that again, the same thing, 9 to 1. And then Day will run the 140 and then that should give me, well, actually, so
Only reason I have day in front of you is like, so ideally I would like you to like be there with him doing
Yeah.
that so that
the
way,
scheduling's
you
just
feel
tough
good.
because last week would have been great, but
But
this
we have the
Wednesday,
table, yeah.
Not even have Day wasn't here, but
Right.
like every other week, like every other weekend right now or something like that. Wednesday we have that boot camp meeting. So
Oh,
on
what time is that?
Wednesday, it's like 1. So it's
Got
like,
it.
I mean, 2 weekends, 2 weeks ago is the same,
Yeah.
it's just a scheduling thing. So like I'm asking Day to like just, come in a little early, but now we're gonna be on the table, so it's like, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. Hopefully by then I will be ready.
Touches have significantly increased as you guys have noticed, right? For interviews and all that great stuff. Shauna's on Thursday. On Friday, we need somebody to run that interview.
Then if
On
we could make sure like the names are correct, because I feel like that is off, obviously affect the,
I put it in for the whole campaign.
yeah.
So if you just make sure on your day of running interviews, you edit it to your name if there's a switch or a change in
Is
times.
like, are we able to edit it even though people are already set for it?
Yeah, you can edit the name. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because that's important so we can track accurate stats.
Well, that was like, I feel like we lose a certain, maybe a small percentage of people.
Yeah,
because, like,
possibly.
You know,
All right, Friday. We need somebody to run that interview while Jordan's running training. It's 3:15. All right, so I'm gonna make that Kayla. All right, cool. So, cool. So interviews are all in there.
do we have a weekend interview?
Yes, we have a Sunday. Our Sundays starting back up.
Cool.
It- yeah,
And
Saturdays.
who's running that?
Shauna. Yeah. So, so yeah, Saturdays. That's dedicated to like go sell. All right. Like if you're not, so here's the important thing that you guys have to do like as assistant managers is you got to be on yourself, right? Like weekends, right? You know how Kubi was talking about job versus,
Right.
business is like weekends are for job people, right? And if you're in like a household where everybody has a job and like the weekends like the thing, it's easy to get caught up in that. But it's like that's your if everybody's off on the weekends, that's when you need to be like in the homes, doing demos and taking advantage of that. So just make sure you prioritize that and plan that. And it's like you should never feel like you're working every day. It's like you guys have plenty of time. That's why I set up the schedule the way that it is where like everyone's in on Monday, then there's like a supporting day that you're here. But then the rest of that time is like go sell and you can still have 2 days off. So just make sure you're taking advantage of that. And just remember to build like a solid Friday or Saturday, it's gonna take all week, your consistent phone times. So anytime you guys are in the office, you should be getting a phone jam in, like a personal phone jam and all that good stuff right there. Okay. So cool. So we got interviews done. All right. Jordan, what's your game plan for team meeting this week?
We need to crack down. So like I'm kind of disappointed about what happened through like the long run of the week. Like we set so many demos and it's like I don't know what happened to them. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't really follow up because I was running training. So like, it was great to have like August and Kayla run PDI. You know, they don't run as much PDI, so I can't expect them to like get the best results. It's great learning and everything, but it's also like the reps, you know. So like it's like crackdown week, Wednesday, something like that. Like, hey, if you're not getting an order every week, like what's going on? You know,
Right.
you have reps like Justin that's supposed to be like, you know, he's solid, but like haven't had a sale in how long? You know what I mean? Saul's back, but it's like it's time to put like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got a lot of reps, but they're like sleep, you know, and midterms, I get it, but it's like how many you need a month, you know? You can't just take a month off because of midterms. So that's like my energy towards that is like, hey, you know, like so like for example, that's just what I want to focus on is like, hey, you need to get an order this week. I don't care.
Okay.
If you're not getting an order this week, we need to have a talk. It's plain and simple. Like Valentine's Day is over. You know what I mean? Yeah, but now it's like, let's go. Why aren't you getting an order?
Okay.
Because you're not working, you know? So that's what I want to focus on. The phone jam was great. I don't know if people are lying about like setting demos, you know? That's something that came in mind is like, are they just lying to us to make them look good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the reality of what I'm seeing. There's really no way to like sugarcoat it, but it's like you're not getting any orders, you know?
Right.
So like what's going on? And that's, you know, I'm gonna ask certain people to, you know, step up. Some people like Saul, some people like Brandon, sort of thing. Like Gilbert, I had no idea that he did 10 demos, you know? So it's like you did 10 demos. Like I didn't know that. And he had a lot of no sales. So it's like, oh, we gotta have a talk.
Right.
Like, why are we getting so many no sales? Are you doing the job right? You know, doing the job right, I guess maybe is something that we can talk about during the team meeting. Um, Communication, right? It's like those are the things that I want to like have clarity on with the team. Because I get it, we're not recruiting a lot right now, so we're like sticking with the same people, which is great. And you know,
It's a great opportunity to develop.
yeah, but at the same time, it's like you can't develop if they're not working.
Yep. So this brings back to like making sure you guys are managing your teams, right? Especially you two. This is a great opportunity to like get really involved and learn how to get people to move, right? That oftentimes comes from manager leadership, right? There's going to be like Jordan was saying, there's going to be partial like the reps responsibility, but the other part is the manager holding the accountability. Because here's what can happen is you can't just tell someone to do something and then never follow up or hold the line. Okay. So so today just make sure you guys all connect with your people. And when you connect with them, you know, make sure you have a desired outcome out of that call, which we can talk about here in a second. I updated the teams a little bit, or I'm in the process of updating them right now. But but yeah, so and here's my minimum expectation of you guys when you're chatting with your teams. And you can go more from this expectation, but this is just the minimum you should do. Connect with everybody on Monday. All right. So like connect to everybody on Monday because it's Magic Monday, last day for them to impact their week. Think about how many times you scheduled like a last minute demo on a Monday, got an order, got tons of recs, finished the week strong. You want to connect with them on Tuesday to show their appreciation. Tuesday is like appreciation day and confirming for team meetings. Okay. So it's like when I'm talking to people on Tuesday, I'm just like, hey, I don't know if I've told you, but I appreciate you being a part of our team. Or, you know, you can say something that you appreciate about the relationship that you guys have built, right? That's your opportunity. Not really talk about work, just confirm, you're good to go for the team meeting. All right. And then when you confirm people for the team meeting, you got to build up the team meeting too. This is why it's important for us to know like what we're talking about on Monday for the team meeting, so that way you can promote it on Tuesday, right? So it's just like if we're gonna have a guest speaker, that's your chance to build up the guest speaker, right? If we're gonna have Lauren teaching something or Day teaching something, like we can build up that topic, right? It's like, hey, I know there's a topic that you're gonna really enjoy. It's actually gonna help a ton with your recommendations or XYZ, right? So that's what that Tuesday PDI is for. But Monday, Tuesday, Friday, PDI at a minimum. Okay, Friday is like getting people, there's intentions set for the weekend. Now, more PDI, the better. You can do more than that. If you can build a relationship with somebody daily to the point where you're not just managing them, now you're like building a relationship with them, that's better, right? So it's like there's no limit, is what I want to say. Don't ever feel like you're calling somebody too much. Right now, if you're calling somebody that hasn't done anything and they keep not doing anything, right? At that point, it's like you need to sit down, have a heart to heart, one on one, and see what we're doing here, right? So that way, and just be straightforward with people. Don't beat around the bush, right? What I've learned is like that doesn't work because now you just have somebody that's like frustrated and they're on their way out, and then you're frustrated because you're like, I don't know why they're not doing anything. Just cut to the point. All right, people prefer honesty and directness versus a question mark. Right. And a phrase that I use a lot, like anytime I notice someone that isn't really doing a lot of stuff, is like, or they're not communicating well, it's like, hey man, August, I don't mind having a zero next to your name. I just can't have a question mark. So it's like, what are we doing here? Let's try to realign. Let's get on the same page. Like, what do you want to accomplish? How can I help you? And then you can kind of move forward right there. Okay. So, but you got to talk to people. If you don't talk to people, they're going to die. They're going to die slowly, right? You might see them at the team meeting, even though you didn't talk to them and remind them about it. But if they don't do anything another week, then you're going to get that excuse. Oh, yeah, something came up and then, and then it's just going to it's going to be a slow death of that representative. Okay. So make sure you're chatting with them. You have some sort of communication. And then make sure Jordan, make sure you're aligned with my training communications with like newbies in their first 10 days. They should be checking in before 10 a.m. or before their first appointment. And then they should be calling in after every appointment. That one's forever. So if they're not doing that, then you gotta be on top of it like quick. Because as soon as you don't react to it, it's like, hey, you missed your call, 10 a.m., right? They're gonna keep not doing it. And then eventually they'll just stop calling altogether. Okay. So just making sure you're reinforcing that. Okay. So yeah, PDI teams are updated. Connect with your people here. There might be a couple other ones. Um, so Day, what's up with Alan? He purchased his kit. It is he is he just operating on his own terms?
Do you have any notes on him?
My last time I talked with him, he was talking about how he is working two other jobs that are like that have him on like so many hours that he's not really able to do anything. So I was like telling him about um I was telling him about returning kit, but then he opted to purchase it. I forgot I wanted to talk to you about the verbiage for inactive reps because I'm not sure if it's different compared to what I'm doing with Jeremy.
Well, I mean, what would you do?
Inactive rep, I'll tell him that he's on an inactive status, since he's not communicating or showing up to team meetings, so he'll still be able to earn money from what he sells, but he doesn't qualify for the base pay program.
Yeah, so the story is he can do demos,
Right.
but they are virtual.
They're in
Bakersfield.
Bakersfield, right?
but he's being a little baby. He wants to go see them in person. And it's been almost 3 months. He said
Yeah.
he would go, he hasn't gone. I told him, hey, we should think about doing virtuals because you're not getting anything done. And you could earn money by doing virtuals, but instead you're not. And and then we split the teams, and then he bought the kit. I know he bought the kit, so I was like, whatever.
Okay.
I stopped calling. That's and then he went on days.
So Day, you should just again be direct. Is like, hey, do you still want to be a part of our team? Meaning coming to team meetings. Do you want us to actively coach you and help you do the job? And also give them an exit where it's like, it's okay if you don't. I just want to make sure we're on the same page, so I'm not calling you for no reason.
Mhm.
And it's like, if you don't want to be on the team in that capacity, you just can't be on the base pay program, which is totally fine. But you purchase your kit, you know how to sell Cutco. So anytime you make sales, you're still going to get paid your commission. But base pay is for like the team guidelines.
Okay.
Okay, so just have that combo ASAP. And then same for anybody that has somebody that's um a little bit harder. Kayla Enrique, just so you know, he wants to stay active and get back going. He needs a game plan.
So like Enrique, we should really just like have even a harder like Kayla did well this week. I gotta give she's doing well with these stern conversations,
Okay.
in my opinion. Um he I don't know if he should be on the team anymore. I think he's just hooked. And he's already setting a bad example. Like he's trying to get his friend in the job, but like he didn't even show it. Like he's on the interview, right? But he's like not even present.
Yeah.
Right. And then he calls me and goes, hey, I didn't get a call back. I didn't get a call back for the interview.
I didn't post him because he was there.
Because he wasn't there.
Okay.
But so he's kind of waiting for it all. I think Kayla, you should just reject him.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is one thing I think is an area of opportunity for our group here. Just be direct with people. You know, it's like if you don't want to bring this person onto the team, tell them that. It's like, and here's why. Your video is off. You didn't show up correct. Don't think it's gonna be a good fit. Have a good day.
You could even be like, hey, and your
And then
that's recommending you, he's kind of,
and then same thing with like Enrique, right? Just tell him that, right? Like let's just not leave people in limbo. Because that's like where problems start to fester. So just be direct so that way we can move on. And that way we're not like right now, like if these are people we don't want on our team, like we're wasting time
exactly.
talking about it. So
Don't want to like baby these people either. Like they would respect it if we treated them like adults because that's what they're aiming to be.
right.
They are.
Okay.
They're our.
So cool. Everyone has two homework assignments. All right, connect with your people. Jordan, make sure you connect with Isabel tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. Oh yeah, I'm sending this picture right now so that way nobody calls this person. I'm gonna steroid her. Camila, she's on the thing, remember?
Yeah, the one that replied right away.
Yeah, so I'm gonna steroid her today. So
Perfect.
that way she doesn't have to go through the interview or anything.
Perfect.
So I posted it on the manager boot camp.
Okay. Cool. Hey, I don't have enough time to go over all the stats and everything, but let me give everyone give yourselves a round of applause, okay? Round of applause all around. All right. Lauren, get those hands off the steering wheel, start clapping. I'm just kidding. All right.
I know the stats.
So good job on staying consistent with fire and like booking that and making that a priority. Like that is number one thing I'm proud of this room for being on top of. I was looking over stats before, like prepping for the meeting and everything like that, and our PR stats are this is why we do PRs. We have a 2.0 efficiency with PRs, which is amazing. You want to be like at a 4.0, 5.0, or lower with like PRs. We have a 2.0. When we schedule a PR, on average from our whole staff, we have a 55% show, if I remember correctly. I don't remember, yeah, to the interviews, right? Which is great because like company web stuff, it's a 30% show. So it's like we want to keep on the PR drill. I remember Kayla, you had I think one of the higher shows. Um, and I can pull it up in a second, but August, you're the lowest right now. All right, but you also schedule the most. Like you and Kayla are pretty tied with like the most scheduled for February. All right, I think Julie has the most scheduled for the year and
PRs or
for
fire?
for fire in general. But all in all, like good shows. So your show was 45%, which is still good, right? But like we don't want to go lower than 45, aiming for 55 50% show with PRs, but many people had 55, 60% shows. And that what that tells me is, we're focusing on the right things. Okay. Same thing with trainings. Our PR show to training is 50%. Okay. So it's 50%. So that's really great. Okay. So let me go over a couple other quick things here and then we'll be done with the staff meeting. But this is going to be a little bit of a recap from my DVM meeting. And let me just show you guys where the direction of things are headed. And the great thing about like some of these meetings where I get to be with all the top DVMs is I get to pick their brains. Like, other people in the country, the only time I get to see them is when I have that SLC event in October and on the company trips. And when we're on company trips, we don't really talk too much about work. We're having fun and stuff. But now that I'm promoted, I get to be around a lot of these like the smartest minds in the company, which is really fired up. So let me just recap here with um, our staff standards. So there were I modified them a little bit, but they're still pretty similar to what they were before. But sell Cutco weekly, right? Just get on the board, make sure you're selling at the minimum, right? Obviously, we need people like Lauren, having 2,000, $3,000 weeks, right? That's super fired up. So we need our assistant managers just like leading hands down. Like it should be no question of like, like clearly this person's the boss, right? You just have more influence, you can do more, you're going to feel better, you're going to be more confident, all those different types of things. Schedule 5 to 10 fire weekly. So 5 is the minimum number anybody on staff should ever schedule for a week, but 10 is where I want our standard to be. Okay. And it's going to be my job and all of our jobs to create enough touches for fire so that way everyone can hit that standard, right? Because if everybody books, 10, that's 70 fire we're scheduling per week. But on the low end, it's like if we're scheduling 50, we'll be one of the top offices in the country. And I'll show you some stats to prove that. Big savers. Okay, money is going to be a big one that I want to have as a standard in our division. Dane Espegard, amongst his division, had close to $300,000 of just withholdings in his entire division. And I was like, dude, that is spicy, right? Where it's like most of his office candidates had like 10,000 saved, all those really great things. So that obviously comes from focusing on sales. Also, when our office does big new business numbers, that also helps fuel that engine right there. Um, you guys do a great job with this, continuing to solve problems, and then growth and experience focused. So for you younger people, it's like really take advantage of your growth here in our business, right? Don't hold on to your age, right? Don't be like, oh, I'm only 18, I'm only 19. It's like, no, like use that. This is a great opportunity to grow yourself and get ahead massively, but like take pride in that. And then, for my veterans, Day and Jordan, it's like I want you guys leading the example with like the growth and the experience in and outside the business, right? It's inspiring when we have people that are doing things bigger than the Cutco job as well. And I would love it to come from that group, you know? So it's like, what other impacts are you leaving? Or what are you working on for yourself, right? Whether it's weight loss or, reading books or, getting coached and all those different types of things. So that's what I expect from our staff members. Our office goal this year is 400,000 new business, 225 recruits, 3,000 fires scheduled, all that kind of stuff. Um, and then here's a big one you'll hear me talk a lot about is I'm looking for a partner. And this is what I'm looking for in a partner. I'm looking for somebody that's a great developer of people. So someone that can take somebody from where they are, right? Let's just plug in whatever name, like a Justin, right? It's like what's impressive is like if you can take somebody like Justin on our team or Alan or somebody and turn them into like this model assistant manager, right? That's really impressive. Or like when Jordan, when you get promoted, it's like creating more district managers, branch managers that are killer. Um, Person that understands and operates our core systems, and then obviously people with strong work ethic. That's the thing that I pride myself in is work ethic. I know I'll beat most people just because I work harder than most people. So it's like I'm looking for somebody that can match that energy. Not the person that's always looking for the shortcut or trying to do less work. It's like, and I already know there's those people will just exist, but it's like what I'm looking for in a partner, like my right hand, the person that's going to help me really build the division, are those three things. Bonus things that help when you're building this person, and I learned this from Stacy Campbell, who's promoted, I think, four division managers in the last 4 years. Like something 4 or 5 division managers, and he was talking about all these. I just literally copied that, and I was like, dude, all his DVMs are like dope. They're like all the best in the company at certain things. But people that communicate, and then people that also can challenge constructively. So it's like, as you guys all know, I'm always open to suggestions, open to improvement, right? But make sure it's like a constructive thing, right? You don't want to be like, John, you suck at this, right? So it's like, hey, John, like, help me understand why we do it this way, but how can we improve this? Like, that's how like we should always be thinking, and also openly constructive your partners, right? So it's like, Kayla, if you feel like Jordan could do something better, we should be able to have that space to be able to communicate that. But there's a process to do that, right? You don't want to be like, Day sucks at this, right? No, it's like you're like, hey, can I?
They suck at ordering sushi.
But it's like, oh, went to sushi with Jordan. Oh man, I should have warned you. That'd be shame.
Yeah, I need to like pilot that move from now on.
Yeah, you gotta train people to order sushi, Jordan. But you guys get what I mean. Okay. Now I'm gonna switch over here real quick to branches and district managers. I want you guys to write these things down. So, Jordan, this is your slide. So this is just going to be like the base framework for anybody that newly gets promoted to become a district manager in our division, right? For their first summer, we're aiming for a $250,000 new business summer, 125 recruits, which means You need to have a 2000 PPR. The main focus is just scheduling 1,000 fires. So, I love that Kuvi said Vector is a money printing video game. And what I learned at this meeting is scheduling 1,000 fire as a district office is the answer. That's really what I learned, right? If you schedule 1,000 fire, you will be the top district office, one of the top 20 district offices in the company. If you schedule 2,000, you're going to be top five. That's basically what I learned as a district manager. Um, if you can't schedule all 1,000 by yourself or with an assistant manager team, you got to hire 1 to 2 PR callers and then 2,000 IG handles from your best schools. So,
What do you mean by that?
Instagram.
yeah,
I know that, but what is that? Like I see that number, but what do I do with that number? Like
yeah. And that's going to be where your SMRA pool and targeted rep recruiting pool is going to come from. So we're gonna set this up before we leave here today, where you guys know your top schools are, and then that way you guys can start leading in that direction. But basically, what you just want to do, you're gonna have a spreadsheet, and you're just gonna look them up on Instagram and just start copying handles and putting it onto a spreadsheet. And then before summer, we're gonna, what do we call it? We're gonna catapult. It's called the catapult. What they do in the Eastern region is basically like April week 1, everyone starts moving, like messaging all their handles for SMRAs. You have a SMRA trainings already lined up for the first 3 weeks of summer. So all that's popping with all your best recruits for the first 3 weeks of summer. You're launching just classes of your best people from your best schools. Like we were talking about earlier, getting like building up a strong team of quality people, and then your mailers drop, and then boom. All right. So so that's new DM. All right, branches. This is what I want you guys focus on. All right, 150,000 new business summer, 75 recruits. All right. And I know we talked about like your number, you have a bigger number, but it's like this is what I want everybody aiming for. Like if you do these numbers, you're gonna never want to leave our company, right? Because you're gonna have nice income saved, you're gonna hit the company trip, all this type of stuff. And this is all trying to do this within like a 10-week period, right? In 10 weeks. But 400 fire is the number. All branches in the Eastern region. Eastern region is the number one region for PRs. Western region, I think last summer we scheduled, it was embarrassing. We scheduled like 6,000 PRs in the summer. Eastern region scheduled 30,000.
that's why they kill us.
Yeah, it was insane. But this is their requirements. Like I literally was hanging out with the Eastern region manager, all their best guys, which by the way, one of their guys is going to be on our call next Monday. One of the Eastern region guys. And this is what they do. Now, branches, they require them to hire a PR caller just because as a branch, you just don't have enough time to build a staff and a team. So that's why like the withholdings with what Kubi was talking about, make sure you have some money. And we'll pull this out of startup. So the startup money that the company gives you, it's like we're gonna budget some of that for you to hire a caller to help you out with calling PRs. Okay. And then 1,000 handles. Now, these are just minimums. Obviously, if you want to do more, go more. All right. But this is just like the minimum standard. Cool. And then these will be startup standards going forward for anybody that wants to ever run an office. Got to have 3,000 minimum to open an office. 6,000 is the standard for premium territories. So like the premium, you guys have premium territories right now, but for people that come after you guys, they got to have 10 grand ready to run these operations. And then just so you guys know, you guys can start sending startup on Venmo straight to Vector.
Should we set it there, 60?
Yeah, I would prefer if you guys did it there because it's just one extra step for me and that just goes straight. Just make sure you include your rep number and that it's for your startup. And then and you guys can do that as often or as frequent as you like. Cool. I like the Disney shirt day.
Or that Chinese New Year.
We got to get you the Kobe's
No,
the you know
Like, I'm Chinese.
yeah the Chinese New Year Kobe's.
You're
Hey.
slacking. Imagine going to Disneyland with the Chinese New Year, bro. People are gonna be looking at you.
Yeah, yeah. You might actually get jumped for the for
Yeah.
the shoes.
By the real ones and the fake ones.
You
All right.
the service.
Hold on. I think I'm done right here. Yeah, I'm all done for what I want to cover right now.
And then after we're done with this, I want to talk about the schedule for the rest of the week with Galen on, so that way we do have some clarity, like last week. You like
All right, Lauren, you're good to hop off here. Julie, you're good to. I'll shoot you a call later.
Caleb.